Yes, okay, I was actually looking for something like this. It's like being a musician, and sometimes I hear music and it's like half in one genre and half in the other genre. I want you to be steeped and soaked in your brand. I feel like this is like romanticizing it with these sparkles around it. Maybe I'm not gonna get the lush and abundant energy from a symbol. Maybe it's gonna be more from colors. Hey, welcome back to the vlog. So happy you're here. I am taking you behind the scenes of my first branding project. I took a brand design course over the summer and I'm adding it onto my services for my design and content studio, Studio Violet, so that I can not only help women with content creation and social media, but I can actually design full brands for them, full show websites, and full social media templates. I've been through this journey myself of going from hating content creation to it being a huge part of what I do on a day-to-day basis, showing you the behind the scenes of what it's like to be working on all the creative projects. Content creation is such a great way of sharing your truth, especially if you have things that you love to do. You really put a face to all of the work and get to express yourself like you do to a friend on FaceTime and through voice memos. I love helping like women who are ex-corporate VPs, just are ready to bring their business to the next level and start romanticizing their lives and see that their business is a huge part of their lifestyle and it's a beautiful creative part of their lifestyle. Do just that. And adding design onto my studio has been such an exciting part. I'm taking you behind the scenes of designing my first official brand, me, Studio Violet. From this point, I've actually been borrowing the branding of Violet Gaze, which is my personal brand where I talk more about myself as a performing artist and behind the scenes of that, whereas Studio Violet is my actual design and content studio where I actually deliver services for women who need it. Since I started it in February, I've just been literally borrowing branding from Violet Gaze, and it's looked fine, but it just needed its own brand, and I figured why not use this as my first real experiment to try out my branding process with. If living a creative lifestyle and romanticizing your life as an artist is something that fits your fancy and you like long form, slow, relaxing videos, but also really creative and inspiring and maybe like somewhat feminine and fairy core, feel free to hit subscribe. I'd love to see you around. I'm also looking to do more vlogs because this has been so much fun to do, to share with you behind the scenes and like not feel like I need to clean up everything. I'm going to show it to you from start to nearly finish so you can see all of my creative process of how I make the mood board into how I turn that into a full brand. Let's go. There's 3 findings that I want to implement in this rebranding. Design a full brand and a website that drips Studio Violet. Drips. Every branding process, every branding project, I want to drip the brand. It's like being a musician, and sometimes I hear music and it's like half in one genre and half in the other genre and kind of doing this other one. No, I want you to drip your brand. I want you to be steeped and soaked in your brand. I'm going to develop some Instagram templates that are actually fun to use and easy. We have our North Star outline here. Primary audience, secondary audience, keywords and ideas. This is really what we're going to do when I create this mood board. Whimsical, poetic, layered, cinematic, ethereal, intuitive, expressive, artistic, enchanting, lush, visionary, refined, nostalgic, feminine, mystical, romantic. All of these I want to seep from my site and my brand. I have made a Pinterest board. I'm going to rename this. I call this Studio Violet Social Media Templates, but I also want this to be the brand as well. I'm going to make the mood board in Figma this is going to be for the brand as a whole, and then we'll make a different mood board for templates. So based off of this, now this is what some designers will do, and I'm not here to say that anyone's right or wrong. I'm just here to say we all notice what other people do and then discern whether we would do that or not do it. A lot of designers will just take inspiration off of the vibe, but not off the mission of the brand itself and the goals. My goals for my brand is something that I'm very, very connected with, is the idea that like I'm thinking multiple levels deep. I'm thinking about like, what do you want to manifest in your business? What do you want your day-to-day life to look like? What do you want your interaction with clients to feel? And when I was answering this, I kept coming up with the phrase, like, I think 3 levels deep into the actual brand when I do this work. I think deeply in everything I do, and I really want that to show up in the branding. I very much want to emphasize the fact that I'm an artist. I want to be your artist bestie. Like, there are many coaches and consultants, ex-VPs, women who've been in corporate for years, who think they aren't creative and they kind of see me as a artistic bestie. They want to trust me, and I also want to empower them to show them how creative they are. We want whimsical. That's a big word in here. Another big thing is that like my goals for my clients is that I want them to be able to romanticize their business and their life. I want them to love their work and thus their life. Because if they can love the work they do, then they can love the life that they're living. And if they're loving the clients they're working with, then they love the work and they love the life. So it's like clients, work, and life. I'm gonna just start brain dumping some phrases. I'm gonna say romanticize. I want them to see themselves as a creative. I want them to see that they have every capacity to be able to have all the creative dreams. Like a lot of these VPs and coaches and consultants, they have always been wanting to start a podcast. They love what other people are doing on Instagram, and they're like, I know I love that, but I don't know how to do it. So I want to empower them to be creative. I feel like empower isn't really my word. Inspire, curate their dream work and lifestyle. I'm not designing, I'm not like building a business because that brings a lot of masculinity, but I'm curating their dream work and lifestyle. Imagine you have this brand that you are dripping in every single day. I keep saying dripped. Dripped in dream branding. Yeah, dripped in dreams. I'm just gonna say dripped in dreams. 3 layers deep, like I kept saying that. So this might not make any sense to you right now, and that's okay, because we're making a mood board, and mood boards don't have to really make sense. The goal of them is to see patterns. Let me see how we're doing here. 3 layers deep, curating their dream work and lifestyle. I'm inspiring them to be creative, romanticize. The words we're using with this is very important too. Whimsical, poetic, layered, cinematic, ethereal, artistic, enchanting, lush. Lush, I like that because I feel like lush shows abundance. Oh yeah, I say manifest. Let me do that. Manifest. I say curate, manifest, because I do believe that like building a brand is also manifesting your dreams. Because if you're surrounding yourselves with these colors and this energy that you want to manifest more of, like it is impossible for the universe not to bring you that. Oh, I said I want to be their artistic bestie. I'm going to post some images for my mood board. And I think I need to add a few more. This one I really thought was cool. I love how it connected. The B is connected with the H. So there's something about like full circle in this that I absolutely love. I'm asking myself why I like this. So I like this because I feel like this is like romanticizing it with these sparkles around it, manifesting, dripped in dreams. It's giving dripping in someone's dreams, and I really like that. Yes, okay, this. I was actually looking for something like this, so this is great. I like this because it's kind of melding 2 things together. It's saying like I have this sophisticated serif font, but I'm throwing in this script to include a handwriting energy. So to me that says I am professional, but there are people behind this. And I feel like that's a very big part of Studio Violet. Like I want to show that I'm a studio because I'm a boutique studio. I work from my home. I have my own office, but it's just me here. And so I want some legitimacy to bring to the party. This 3 layers deep thing is something that really, I think, differentiates me. And so I'm trying to find, I'm writing like layered fonts, layered logo. I want to find something that adds some layer. Just an idea. This is conceptual. When you look at a logo like this, you're seeing like these things are entangled together. There's connection, but I'm looking for layers. So I'm just wondering if there's like an example of a logo that I can find that has just some type of energy like that. I like this. So far, this is bringing the most layered energy right now because the actual letters are layered. I don't quite know what that's going to look like practically, but I do want to add that. I'm actually going to replace it with this, just because I like the colors a little better. I'm also bringing some colors here as well. The colors are going to mean a lot. Colors are a concept. You can make red not angry. You can make blue not calming. It's really about the application of it. We do need to do some sort of purple. I also think blue brings a sophistication. What's important about this brand is that it's different enough from my personal brand of Violet Gaze. I want this to be differentiated enough, but obviously I don't want to differentiate it just to differentiate. It's going to be different on its own. There's a sense of like trust and professionalism in blue, but blue also brings this ethereal vibe of dreams, dreaminess. And again, this is all going back to these words and the words that I got from doing the story bloom. Dripped in dreams, like dripped, water, blue, 3 layers deep. Layers can be water, deep is water. So there's something to do with blue and water here. Romanticizing clients, there might need to be some sort of pink possibly here, although this is a more sophisticated, curated energy compared to Violet Gaze, where it can be a little bit more playful. I want there to be luxury because the women I'd be working with have worked in corporate. They've stepped inside really nice buildings. They've lived a luxurious life, a lot of them, and I want to meet them there. I don't want to bring them back to this playful, like Gen Z millennial energy, because I think in their business, they're looking to step forward. They're not looking to step younger. Even if I am younger than them, they want to move forward in their business. And I think I want them to get the feeling that things are getting elevated. A lot of the fonts and a lot of the energy we're already getting is very ethereal. I feel like this picture brings in the dripped in dreams element of it. I just want lush and abundance. You might be wondering how I'm making the decision to choose these different images. I'm typing in lush flowers because I want one more image that shows the lush and abundance that clients will get after working with Studio Violet. A lot of these look, this is a close-up of a flower, and it's not showing me lush and abundant, it's just showing me how pretty the petals are, which is beautiful in its own right, but it's not really giving me the lush and abundant element. This is very pretty, but as you can see, the flowers look like, it looks like the camera's shaking and it's faded, and I don't want them to feel like things are shaky. I want them to feel like they're on a solid foundation and that things are growing. A lot of these are really pretty, but this wouldn't really say lush and abundant because there's only one flower. What I'm realizing is maybe I'm not going to get the lush and abundant energy from a symbol. Maybe it's going to be more from colors. I'm going to say lush garden because that should insinuate that there's a lot of flowers. Okay. All right. This is more like it. It's a fairy tale garden. Oh, I love these. The arches. This says lush. And what this also says is romanticize clients' work and life. So it ties into the other one too. Maybe there's some color we can pull from here. I'm gonna pull a few more colors. What would this color be? It's like a cream. We have the mood board. I'm copying and pasting it from Figma into Adobe Illustrator so I can work with it as I'm actually designing the brand. What I want to do first is creating the logo itself. I want to start with the type suite, and I want to see what it looks like with both lowercase letters and uppercase letters, just to experiment a little bit. Something I found when I first started doing logos is that The font and the type suite is so important to it. So important. I am just going ahead and experimenting with a few different ones. And what I do is I go on Adobe Fonts. This shows me a lot of different alternatives of fonts. Like, I don't like using Google Fonts because it's so common. Everybody uses it. So I want to use ones that are on Adobe Fonts because they're special. They're really special. Something I'm noticing already is I'm starting to really like the look of the all caps. And because there's going to be a few variations of this font, I'm going to need one that's long ways, like Studio and Violet next to each other. And then I'm also going to need ones that are like stacked on top of each other, like Studio on the top and Violet on the bottom if I have less space. And as you can see, I'm basing it off of what I'm seeing in the mood board. Like there are some fonts that are that bold serif, and then there's that one font that is that more gentle one. So even though that's the only one that's lowercase, I just want to try them out. And so I do want to see what it looks like for all of them with a bunch of different caps and lowercase and all of them. What I also wanted to do was I wanted to get a few script ones because of that one picture in my mood board that had that serif with the script intertwined. So I want to see how that works. So I want to see what that feels like if I combine these and taking it off of that Two Whimsical Florists thing with like a few of them as the serif and a few of them with the script. We tried that. Basically added a few more things to the mood board, specifically that Glinda. Again, wanted to see like if the combination of these serifs and the script would actually work. You could see I tried them over here and I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling a vibe with it. It was giving a little bit disheveled and I don't know. There was something about it. So I was playing around a lot. I really like this stacked font of this Glinda. And so I found a different font and I started playing around with the bolding of it with a really fun logo mark that adds the stacked element without the stacked element being in the primary logo. So I was able to kind of get that all included in different variations and having a little sparkle in the O and a really fun squiggly V, showing the creativity, but also how it's walking the line between whimsical and curated, like I said in the mood board. Now we're gonna start adding some colors. Colors was a lot more challenging than I thought. I figured, I was like, I got the logo down, now it's colors, and that's just going to be totally separate. Yeah, no. I totally changed up my logo after doing this. I started out with basic colors that I got from my mood board. So I literally just eye dropped them from the mood board, and then I'm playing around with the different tone, the value. And I'm the type of person that I like a lot of muted colors, lots of feminine colors. So you can see I'm scrolling through past colors that are a little too bright and really focusing on ones that I feel like, fit the aesthetic. I'm using the mood board as a jumping off point, and then I'm setting it based on what I like. And then as the final kind of stamp on it, I'm going to check in the accessibility checker. After a while, I got a little overwhelmed by the yellow, and I wanted to go more towards this combination of like purple and blue. My Violet Gaze branding has purples and pinks, and I think the blue brings a lot of trustworthiness to the brand and also brings in this realm of like this dreaminess that I always talk about, of living your dreams and romanticizing your life. And so I think having the combination of blue and this deep, like maybe even raspberry, because I don't love red, raspberry with purples could help. So you can see, like, I tried balancing the blue with the yellow, but it didn't really hit. So finally I started getting closer, and I really loved this color combination. And now I need to check with the accessibility checker to make sure that it's actually easy to read especially for people with vision impairments online. So I'm finding my final colors, and then I have to check. And what I do too is I want to start naming the colors while I do it, because I want to see if it makes sense to the brand, because maybe there's like too many deeper colors that aren't really speaking to all of the words and adjectives that I had in the brief. So I'm balancing doing that with like actually finding colors that are visible enough. And so I'm making a category to make sure that I have a good amount of colors that are accessible. I'm just using this simple accessibility checker on Adobe. Since I have the whole creative suite, I have everything I need. And I'm already absolutely loving these colors. And sometimes there is a little bit of heartbreak because I'm like already in love with this palette. And then there are some times where I realize that not all the colors are accessible. And so I have to adjust the brightness a little bit in order to make sure that it is accessible. It really is a puzzle piece. It really is fitting in what I like and what I think is best for the brand, and also what makes the most sense tangibly. But you can see I got a lot of really accessible combinations, so I am very, very happy with this. So basically, after doing all the colors, I was able to figure out the rest of the brand. I needed those colors, but I wanted to try the logo out without it, so I wasn't too biased. But after trying all of these versions, I really came back to this font at the bottom right. And I tried to even flip around the V, but I was like, no, I like it regular. And I added a bunch of different variations to have this walking the line between whimsical and curated. And because I just think it looks so good with all the colors, I was able to basically incorporate a sparkle where it made sense without it being too much. That second logo shouldn't have the sparkle in it on the bottom. Just ignore that stacked one, because the O also has that swirl and the V has that little glyph. So I was able to incorporate even that stacked version in the Glinda, maybe not in like the primary logo, but in the submark. And then I have the sparkle that has that curated vibe. So there's a perfect combination of whimsical and curated. I added some colors with names that I absolutely love. I'm in love with these fonts, and I'm just really, really happy. I created a version with all the different colors and all the different logo styles. And even though I work so far away from the mood board, you can see it really does go back to the mood board. It's very, very similar. I'm so excited. I think it looks really good. It's my vibe, very much my vibe. And it just makes me so excited to do more of these projects and incorporate more of my creativity and artistry in my design and content studio. I want to start working a little bit on the social media graphics and the templates and some symbols. But I wanted to finish this up with my first official brand out. Logos, color palettes, font suites. I think it really matches the vibe of Studio Violet. I hope you got some inspiration. If you want to follow along for the next one, definitely hit subscribe so you can see all of the creative and artistic things that I do on a day-to-day basis as a performing and visual artist. Hope to see you next time. As usual, stay inspired and stay creative. Bye, friend.